The accident Jack was a simple man. He worked as a miner in deep space. His job was not exciting. He did not fight wars. He did not discover planets. He just drilled rocks. Every day, he woke up early, ate the same food, and went into the mines with his tools. He was part of a small human mining crew on asteroid K-17 far away from Earth. Jack liked quiet. He did not like trouble. He just wanted to finish his shift and go back to his bunk. But that day, something strange happened. Something no one could explain. Jack woke up late that morning. His alarm did not ring. He rushed to the mine, still putting on his boots. The other workers were already inside. Jack felt a little embarrassed, but no one cared. They were busy working. The machine noise was loud. The walls of the mine shook a little, as usual. He went to his drill station and began working. Everything seemed normal at first. But after a few minutes, his machine hit something hard, something different. It was not rock. It was smooth and gave off a strange sound, like metal humming. Jack stopped drilling and looked closer. A small piece of the wall broke open. Behind it, he saw a glowing blue line. It ran deep into the ground like a wire, but it was not man-made. He had never seen anything like it. He called his team leader, but there was no answer. His comm device was dead. Strange, he thought. The signal always worked inside the mine. Then the ground started to shake harder. Lights on the ceiling blinked. The sound of alarms echoed through the tunnels. Red lights flashed. Something was wrong. Jack ran to the main hallway, but no one was there. The mine was empty. The other workers were gone. Tools were dropped on the ground. It looked like they had just disappeared. Jack shouted, but only his own voice came back to him. Panic began to rise in his chest. He turned around to leave, but the floor beneath him cracked open. He tried to jump, but he was too late. The ground gave way and Jack fell. He fell for a long time, then everything went black. When he woke up, he was lying on a cold floor. His helmet light was broken, but soft blue light came from the walls. He looked around. This was not part of the mine. The walls were smooth and clean, like glass. Strange symbols glowed faintly. He stood up slowly. His leg hurt, but he could walk. He walked down a long hallway. The air was warm and smelled like metal and dust. The symbols on the walls began to glow brighter as he walked past them. Then he heard something. A voice. It was quiet and soft, but it spoke his name. Jack. He froze. Jack. Come forward. The voice was not human. It was deep, slow, and full of power. But somehow Jack could understand it. He didn't know how. It felt like the voice spoke in his mind. He followed the hallway until it opened into a giant chamber. In the center of the chamber was a stone door. It was massive and covered in glowing lines. As Jack stepped closer, the door began to open on its own. He felt a pull, like the room was calling to him. Behind the door, he saw something that made no sense. A throne. It stood tall on a platform, made of black stone and glowing metal. Around it were statues of creatures Jack had never seen before. They looked like aliens, tall and thin, with long arms and wide eyes. Then the voice returned. You have entered the Hall of Kings. Jack shook his head. This is a mistake, he whispered. I'm just a miner. But the voice said, your blood matches the signal. You are the new king. Jack backed away. He didn't want any of this. He just wanted to go home. Suddenly, the chamber shook again. A loud sound filled the air. Something deep underground was waking up. You must accept the call, the voice said. The core is dying. Without you, all will be lost. Jack looked around. He didn't understand. Why him? What was this place? He turned to run, but the door had closed behind him. He was trapped. The throne glowed brighter. His hand began to burn. He looked down and saw a blue mark appear on his skin. It pulsed with energy. He screamed. The chamber echoed with strange sounds like machines turning on after a long sleep. The voice said one last thing before silence filled the room. You are the last hope of the Zellari. Jack fell to his knees. He had no idea what was happening, but he knew one thing. His life as a simple miner was over. The awakening Jack did not feel his body. He floated in darkness. Time had no meaning here. He did not know if minutes passed or hours or days. He heard voices again. Many voices. Some whispered in fear. Others shouted in anger. But one voice was calm, clear, and always watching. It said, "Human, awake." Jack opened his eyes. He was no longer in the glowing chamber. He was lying inside a strange room, surrounded by floating lights and humming machines. The walls were silver and smooth, like a living metal. He was on a soft surface that felt too clean to be real. He sat up slowly. His leg did not hurt anymore. His clothes had changed. His miner suit was gone. Now he wore something thin, light, and glowing faintly at the chest. His hand still had the blue mark. It was not a dream. "Where am I?" he whispered. "You are in the sanctuary core," the voice said. "This is the heart of the Zellari." Jack looked around but saw no one. Who's talking? A bright figure appeared in front of him. It was not a person. It was a projection, a moving shape of light, like a ghost made of glass and stars. "I am Vera," the voice said. "I am the last guardian of this civilization." Jack stood up. "I'm not a king. I don't even know what a Zellari is. I'm a miner. I dig rocks." "You are more than that now," Vera said. "The system has accepted you. The throne recognized your signal. You are bound to this world." Jack shook his head. "This is a mistake." Vera paused. "There are no mistakes left. Our world is ending. The core has fallen into silence. Only an outsider can restore it. You were chosen by the old code, passed down through centuries." Jack walked to the wall and touched the smooth metal. It lit up with strange patterns when his hand got near. The place felt alive. "What happened here?" Jack asked. "The Zellari were once great," Vera explained. "Our cities floated in the skies. Our ships traveled stars. But long ago, we were attacked. An enemy without form. The void kind. They devoured energy, minds, and memory. We fought them for centuries. In the end, we lost." Jack turned. "So you hid down here?" "Yes," Vera replied. "The last king sealed the core and placed a lock, one that could only be opened by someone not born of this world. It was a risk, a final hope." Jack looked at the glowing mark on his hand. It pulsed slowly, like a second heartbeat. "And now you're telling me I'm that person," he said. "You are," Vera said. "You are the key." Jack felt pressure in his head like something waking up inside him. He saw flashes, images not his own. Towers of light, flying machines, a great battle in the stars. Then silence. Cold silence. "I can't fix a dead civilization," Jack said. "I don't know anything about this." "You will learn," Vera said. "But there is no time. The core is breaking. If it dies, everything here will vanish, and not just here, this planet is connected to others. If it collapses, it could start a chain reaction." Jack stepped back. "So you're saying I have to fix your ancient machine, save your lost world, and somehow become king?" "Yes," Vera answered simply. Jack laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. "Great, just great." Vera moved closer. "You may not believe it now, but your path began long ago. Even your birth was not random. The core called across space. It found you." Jack looked down at his hand again. "So what do I have to do?" "The throne must test you," Vera said. "No king can rule without the trial." "What trial?" Jack asked. "Your mind must face the truth inside," Vera said. "Only then will the throne accept your voice." Before Jack could respond, the floor beneath him began to change. Light wrapped around his legs, the room faded. He was being pulled into something. "Wait, what's happening?" "You must begin the trial now," Vera said. "This is the first step. "There's no going back," Jack shouted, but his voice was already fading. Everything turned dark again. Then came silence. Then came the trial. First test, Jack opened his eyes. But the world around him was wrong. He stood in the middle of a desert, dry, cracked ground under his feet, and a dark red sky above. Wind blew across the land, but there was no sound, no birds, no machines, no stars, only silence. He looked down. His clothes were gone. He wore his old miner uniform again, covered in dust and oil, just like the first day he arrived at the asteroid mine. Was this a memory? No. Something felt too strange, too heavy, like the air itself was watching him. Then he heard a voice. But not Vera's. This one was cold and cruel. So, this is the chosen one? Jack spun around. A tall shadow stood behind him. Its face was hidden. Its voice echoed like it came from inside his head. "You're no king. You're nothing but a scared little human." Jack stepped back. "Who are you?" The shadow smiled. "I am part of you, your doubt, your fear. I live inside every weak thing you hide from others." The sky cracked with lightning. Black towers rose from the ground like growing bones. Jack tried to run, but the ground shifted beneath him. The landscape kept changing. A mine shaft appeared. The sound of drilling machines filled the air. He saw a younger version of himself, tired, lonely, working deep underground. Then came the voice again. "You've always been small, always been forgotten. You think one lucky accident makes you important?" Jack clenched his fists. "I never asked for this. But now you must earn it," the voice said. "This is the trial of the crown. You will face your truth, or be broken by it." A doorway appeared ahead. Jack stepped through it. Now he stood in a long hallway with hundreds of mirrors, but they didn't show his reflection. They showed his failures. One mirror showed the time he let a teammate get injured because he hesitated. Another showed him yelling at his younger brother back on Earth. Another showed him walking away when someone asked for help. Jack looked away, but the mirrors followed him. "You see?" the shadow whispered. "This is who you are. Weak, selfish, unworthy." "No," Jack said quietly. "I made mistakes. Everyone does. But I keep going." The mirrors cracked. Light flashed from the cracks. Jack felt warmth in his hand, the same mark as before. It glowed brighter now. "You are not in control," the shadow hissed. "You are not ready." "Maybe not," Jack said. "But I'm still here." Suddenly, fire burst from the mirrors. The shadow screamed and rushed toward him. Jack didn't run. He walked forward, straight into the fire. It did not burn him. It passed through him like light through glass. The shadow reached out, but its hand shattered like smoke. Jack stepped out the other side, calm and quiet. Everything around him faded. He was standing again in the chamber of the throne. Vera's voice returned. "You passed." Jack took a deep breath. He felt different. Stronger, not in body, but in purpose. The mark on his hand pulsed with steady light. It no longer hurt. "What was that place?" he asked. "The test," Vera said. "A piece of your mind was sent into the trial field. Only those who can face their truth are worthy of leading." Jack looked at the throne. The ancient room no longer felt cold. It felt like it was waiting for him. "Do I get a crown now?" he asked, trying to joke. "No," Vera replied. "You get responsibility." Before Jack could answer, the floor shook. Vera's voice grew tense. "Something has awakened. A presence is watching. One we thought was long gone." Jack looked around. What kind of presence? Then for a moment he saw it, far away. In the shadows beyond the throne room, a dark shape, tall, thin, eyes glowing with hunger. And then it vanished. Jack frowned. "What was that?" Vera replied with a single word. "Voidkind." The hidden enemy, the stars, were missing. Jack stood on a high platform inside the alien city. Above him was a sky of swirling clouds, but no stars, not even one. He turned to Vera. "I thought you said this planet had a clear view of space." "It did," she said quietly. But something is feeding. And it eats light first. Jack felt a chill. The trial had changed him. His thoughts were sharper now. The alien systems responded faster to his voice. The throne room accepted his commands, but none of it prepared him for what he was about to face. The Zalari city had once been alive with millions. Now only a few hundred remained, hidden in tunnels and old shelters. Jack met them slowly. Some were curious, some were afraid, and some didn't want him there. One warrior named Kale stepped forward during a meeting. His face was marked with old battle scars. His eyes were cold. "This human should not lead us," Kale said. "He is not one of us. He doesn't know our history. He doesn't know our pain." Jack didn't argue. He just said, "You're right, I don't. But I'm here, and I'm trying to help." Kale stared at him for a long time, then walked away. Jack could feel the doubt in the air. He wasn't a hero. He was just a miner who fell into the wrong hole at the wrong time. But now he was king, by some strange alien law, and the whole city was depending on him. Vera guided him deeper, into the planet. She showed him the energy network that powered the Zalari core. Giant machines sat quiet, waiting for a voice to wake them. Jack's voice. But something else had already woken up. It started small. A missing tool, a broken signal, a power surge, in the tunnels. Then came the whispers. Soft voices over the comms speaking in dead Zalari code. Then came the message. He is not the true king. Jack stood in the command chamber looking at the data screens. Vera floated beside him. "There is someone working against us," she said. "Void kind?" Jack asked. "No, this is internal. One of our own." Jack's mind raced. "A traitor." "Correct. They followed the signals to the outer zone of the city, near the old war stations. Jack and a small Zalari team entered a dark chamber filled with dust and dead machines. As they walked, lights turned on by themselves. Jack saw strange marks burned into the walls. "They were here," Vera said. "Someone opened the outer gate. A signal was sent." Jack's heart sank. "They told the void kind where we are." Vera's lights dimmed. "Yes." Suddenly one of the guards shouted, "Over here." They found a broken console and a recording device. Jack pressed play. A voice spoke. A voice he recognized. It was Kale. "If the core is awakened, the enemy will return. We must stop him before it's too late." Jack stepped back. "He's trying to destroy the core?" "No," Vera said. "He believes he's protecting it. He fears you will bring doom." Jack clenched his fists. "Then we need to find him before he does something we all regret." At that moment, a red light flashed on the screen, an ancient signal, a message from the stars. Vera read it quickly. "A ship is approaching. A Zalari vessel lost for centuries. It is returning." Jack looked at the screen. The ship was big, powerful, but something was wrong. Its signal was twisted. "That's not just a ship," Jack said. "That's a trap." Vera's voice dropped to a whisper. "He has called them. The void kind are coming." The lost ship it began with a song. Not music, but a strange, deep sound that echoed through the walls of the alien city. The kind of sound that didn't pass through ears. It went straight into the bones. Jack felt it first while he was asleep. His dream turned cold. In it, he stood alone in space, looking at a ship with no lights, no windows, and no soul. It drifted toward him, slow and silent. But even without engines, it was moving too fast, too hungry. He woke up sweating. The sound was still there. Faint, distant, but growing. He rushed to the control tower. Vera was already active, scanning the sky. "It's close," she said. "The lost ship has arrived." Jack looked at the screen. The vessel was massive, 3 times bigger than anything the Zalari had left behind. Its surface was cracked and black, like something had melted part of it, but it still moved, powered by something unnatural. "Is there anyone alive on it?" Jack asked. "No life signs," Vera replied, "but something is speaking through it." Then a voice filled the room. low, cold, and slow. We were the first. We are the last. The light has no place here. Jack stepped back. That's not Zalari. It's void kind, Vera confirmed. They have taken the ship. It is now their mouth. The city lights flickered. Alarms began to sound. The ship was not just drifting anymore. It was lowering itself directly toward the ancient city, using forgotten codes. Somehow, it still knew the way. Jack slammed his fist on the panel. Kale told them how to get in. He opened the path. Vera looked at him. Then we must close it. The defense systems of the city were ancient. Some hadn't been used in over 200 years. Jack ordered his team to wake them up. Giant towers rose from the ground. Shields buzzed to life. Old cannons charged slowly, glowing with blue fire. But deep inside the control system, something was wrong. One of the towers didn't respond. Jack ran to the underground hub where the energy network was linked. There in the dark, he found Kale. He wasn't alone. His eyes were glowing black. His voice was hollow. They are not our enemy, Kale whispered. They are our future. You are the infection. Jack raised his hand. Kale, don't do this. They showed me the truth, Kale said. The Zalari were dying before the war even began. The void kind only ended the pain. Jack looked at the cables in Kale's hand. He had cut part of the defense grid. You let them in, Jack said. Kale nodded. I welcomed them. Before Jack could stop him, Kyle pushed a device into the wall. The entire west shield dropped and the sky turned black. The ship had arrived. Jack ran. Vera, activate emergency lockdown. Done, she said, but they're already inside. A breach has opened in the old tunnels. Jack grabbed a pulse weapon. He wasn't a soldier, but he couldn't hide. Not anymore. He and a small team went into the lower halls. And there, he saw them. Void kind. They had no clear shape. They moved like smoke, but their eyes were burning red. Their voices hissed through the walls. They walked without touching the floor. Machines shut down as they passed. One looked directly at Jack. You do not belong, human king. Return to your dust. Jack raised his weapon and fired. The beam went through it, but the creature screamed and split into mist. The team fought back hard, but the creatures were fast. Some of Jack's guards were pulled into shadows and never seen again, but Jack didn't run. He reached the main gate control and slammed the override. All remaining shields came back online. The ship above them screamed, an unnatural howl that cracked glass. Vera spoke. The breach is sealed, for now. Jack sat down, breathing hard. His hand was shaking. They're inside, he said. This isn't just about saving the Zalari anymore. If they get off this planet, they will spread, Vera finished, and your Earth will be next. Jack looked up at the dark sky. There were still no stars, only war. King of the End Jack was not dreaming. He stood at the center of the throne chamber, eyes open, but time had stopped. The machines were frozen mid-movement. The lights hung still, in the air. Even Vera's voice had gone silent. Only one thing moved, the mark on his hand. It was glowing brighter than ever, pulsing like a warning, like a countdown. Then came a voice he had never heard before. Ancient, deep. It did not speak to his ears. It spoke to his blood. You have reached the edge of the old path. Now choose your end. The throne pulsed with golden light. Energy flowed up its arms and formed a shape above it, half crown, half flame. It floated, waiting for him. But behind it the shadows were growing. Jack turned slowly. The void kind had entered the chamber. Not as monsters this time, but as memories. They wore faces from his life. His father, his old boss, the teammate he lost. They spoke as one. You don't belong here, Jack. Go home. This is not your world to save. Jack didn't move. His heart was racing, his hands were shaking, but he didn't step back. I may not belong, he said, but I'm the only one who's still standing. The throne glowed brighter. Bera's voice returned, weak, flickering. Jack, if you take the throne now, you will change. Forever. What does that mean? He asked. You will no longer be only human. Jack looked at the shadow faces. They were fading now. The trick was broken. The fear was still there, but it no longer controlled him. He walked toward the throne. Each step made the chamber shake. Ancient lights lit up across the walls. Machines that hadn't worked for centuries turned back on. The air felt heavier, charged like a storm. The crown of flame lowered toward his head. The moment it touched him, everything exploded into light. He saw everything, the history of the Zellari, their rise, their fall, their last stand against the Yo. Voidkind, the reason the throne chose him, the old king's final words. And the truth, the core was not just power, it was life. It was the last piece of something older than the Zellari, older than the Voidkind. And now, it lived inside Jack. He opened his eyes again, but he was different. He could see energy in the air. He could hear machines breathing. The throne no longer felt like stone, it felt like a part of him. His voice now carried weight. When he spoke, the room obeyed. Vera bowed. You are now the core binder, the last king. Jack stood tall. Then, it's time to finish this. The defense systems responded at once, new weapons unlocked, ancient star forges activated. The ground itself reshaped as Jack raised his hand. Outside, the Voidkind screamed. They knew what had awakened. They remembered this power. The last time they felt it, they lost. Jack spoke to the city. The enemy is here, and this is our home. If we fall today, we fall standing. Zellari warriors gathered, machines lined the sky, the shield walls glowed gold. Even the planet seemed to breathe louder. But high above, the Voidkin ship opened like a flower of darkness. Something bigger was coming. Bera whispered, their true form is waking. Jack narrowed his eyes. Then let it come. The final signal. The sky broke, not with lightning, but with silence. Everything went still. No wind, no sound, not even breath. Then a hole tore open above the planet, wide, black, and endless. A creature stepped through. Its body was made of shadow and starlight. Its arms were long enough to hold mountains. Its voice did not speak, it simply was. Jack stood on the highest tower, watching it descend. Vera floated beside him, her glow dimmed by fear. That is not a ship. That is the source of the Voidkind. We called it a myth. We were wrong. Jack's fingers tightened around the edge of the tower. His crown burned like fire. The throne's power pulsed through him, but even he could feel it wasn't enough. Not alone. He turned toward the city, now shining with golden shields and blue fire. The last of the Zellari warriors stood ready. Machines hummed like living beasts. Old weapons pointed to the sky, but Jack knew something no one else did. This wasn't just a war of weapons, it was a war of belief. The Voidkind fed on fear, on silence, on lost hope. Jack raised both arms and spoke, not through radios or machines, but through the core itself. His voice was a signal. It echoed across the city, across the tunnels, across the stars. To all who hear me, I was just a miner. I had no throne, no crown. I never wanted to be king, but I won't let the light go out, not while I'm still standing. His signal reached far beyond the planet, and something answered. Old satellites blinked awake. Long dead stations on the edges of Zellari space lit up. Then came a sound, small at first, then louder. A reply. Ships. Dozens. Hundreds. Some were old Zellari vessels. Some were human exploration crafts. Some were other species long thought gone. They had heard Jack's voice, his signal, his stand. The galaxy was waking up. Jack smiled. Guess I'm not alone after all. The Voidkind screamed. The great shadow creature opened its arms and dropped toward the planet. and the sky lit up. A battle unlike any in history began. Energy beams crossed space. Alien cannons fired ancient light. Void-kind shapes twisted and struck from every side. Jack led the defense, his voice guiding weapons, shields, and strategy. He was no longer just Jack the Miner. He was Jack the Signal, Jack the King, Jack the Fire in the dark. The throne pulsed as he poured everything he had into one final command. Activate. The core. The planet shook. A beam of golden light shot from the heart of the city, striking the shadow creature directly. The void-kind screamed in 1,000 voices. It twisted, broke, and burned. Then silence. The sky cleared, and the stars returned. Later, the survivors gathered in the chamber. The city was damaged but alive. The core was quiet, sleeping now that the danger had passed. Jack sat on the throne, tired but calm. Vera looked at him. "You changed everything." Jack smiled. "I didn't plan any of this." She nodded. "But you finished it." Jack looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth was spinning quietly. Maybe one day he'd return. Maybe not. For now, he had a new home, and a galaxy that remembered one thing: humanity had arrived.